Hey everyone, it's Libby from Maighstirtarot. Tarot. I'd like to acknowledge the Worimi First Nations people, the traditional custodians of the land on which these videos are made, and welcome to you, your guides, my guides and the universal energies. Okay, what do I want to have a look at in this particular reading? I just want to point out, yes, I am abreast of all that's happening in regards to the Epps files. Apparently a New York federal judge is currently considering the final approval of Bank of America having to pay a $72 million settlement with Epps accusers for, this is in abc7uny.com. So this is from a New York news channel called Eyewitness News ABC for New York. Apparently the judge is considering in regards to Bank of America, the actual $72 million settlement. The judge is considering because of transactions, suspicious transactions made to Epps by Leon Black. Yes, we know, and Ben Black is in the cabinet. I've read on Leon Black several times. He's a entertainment only. My guides believe he is a dirty piece of work, and yeah, he knew exactly what he was doing. Claimed that his relationship with Epps was professional services and estate planning. Yeah, hundreds of millions. Oh, I'm a bit, 158 million for estate planning. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's pretty dodgy. The plaintiffs reached similar settlements with JP Morgan Chase and Deutsche Bank, but the claim against Bank of New York Mellon was dismissed due to lack of evidence, but they're all allegedly, potentially guilty. I'm also aware that there is another case that has been brought forward in New York City under the New York City Gender Motivated Violence Act against Epps's co-executors that played critical roles in enabling Epps to do what he did. So just be aware there's another court case being lodged there against the estate as well. So I am aware that there is a lot that is going on in regards to that. The Zorro, New Mexico investigation is still underway. There's a lot of information. There was 26 pages that were leaked in regards to FBI investigation statement. It was the statement, not an actual investigation, but 26 pages leaked. So things are really moving. They will not be kept hidden. There's stuff that we won't see. Just be aware there is bits and bobs that we will never see. But just know that is all moving ahead despite the best efforts to keep it under wraps, and because the truth will always rise to the surface. Now, don't get too worried about the Orange Idiot trying to rename, was it Lake Ontario as Lake of America or whatever? Oh, it's still the Gulf of Mexico. It's still the Strait of Hormuz. It's still Lake Ontario. It's an executive order. Executive orders are not legally binding. Executive orders, so just daily reminder for this, executive orders are merely a wish list. It's not until they actually if they're implemented and then legal action is taken to test them, that's when the legal test happens. So don't worry about him with his executive orders. What it pretty much is just keeping him distracted so that he doesn't blurt out something that he's not supposed to, and also keep him away from actual policy, because he'll come out with something really, really stupid like, I'm cheesed off with Canada, so I'm putting a 50% tariff on them. Yeah, right, sure, okay, whatever. Canada is you know, if you're in Canada, if you're Canadian, feel free to sell down your bonds and sign your agreements elsewhere, because that's what they're doing. I think one of the major Canadian ice cream makers came out and said, well, we're not going to buy our fruit for our ice cream from the US anymore. A, because there's the health and safety thing, but also they're not going to pay 50% tariffs on ice cream from the US. So apparently they've signed a contract with Italy and Spain. I mean, it does mean that it's brought a lot further across the world, but they're just getting on. Okay, but what I want to have a look at in this particular reading, so there's a lot of little news coming out that I don't really need to have a look at, but what did catch my attention today was there is news that has come out. I posted a video from Carrick Ryan, really good Australian commentator, in regards to what appears to be insider share trading done by not only the felon, but by our own felon lover, Gina Rinehart, who is the major backer for Pauline Hanson, the Orange Harpy, who is head of the One Nation Party. It's all convoluted. Pauline Hanson apparently gave a keynote speech. It's at a recent Farage event in the UK. She's spent time at Mar-a-Lago at fundraising shoulder rubbings there, and yet she claims she's a battler of the people. Where have we heard that before? She's actually in my region today, refusing to do radio interviews because she likes to be able to say what she has to say, but don't dare question her on the actual either the detail or the because it's just chaotic. Her horses are pulling in all different directions. She's trying to move things forward, but it's just not working for her. She has wins. I'm going to say she does have wins, but then they very quickly fall apart when their actually feet are held to the fire. So, but what do I actually want to have a look at? Well, there's a couple of things here. Our federal government said if you want to set up a data centre, they have to produce all the energy that they require plus extra via renewable energy. Now, what's happened is our Texas of the North, Queensland, which is the Orange Harpies' home state, apparently has given permission for data centres to use gas or coal to power their energy. Not happy, Jan. The Northern Territory is also, I read on it a couple of weeks back or a month or so ago, there's an AI data centre going in an area that was supposed to be a housing estate outside of Darwin, but has been turned into a data centre. It is being built by a gas company. So what is pretty much happening, and it will be powered by that gas. So what's pretty much happening is you're finding these fossil fuel companies are actually the ones that are behind building these data centers because they know that their fossil fuel clients, aside from the US, are falling away. And they're desperately trying to create new customers for their product. So what is happening is that they're investing in these energy heavy data centers so that they get pretty much a permanent customer. It's pretty much how it is. It's a closed circuit money cycle. We're supplying the product, we will create the user of the product, and therefore it's just a closed loop type cycle. Six of Pentacles, the money going around and around and around, but it is the average person that loses out. you know, there's this, oh, these jobs will be created. They don't talk about the jobs. Well, they do talk about the jobs that will be lost. There was data out today about the amount of computer programming jobs that will be lost in Australia due to AI. Well, you know, jobs come, jobs go. Once upon a time, there used to be somebody that walked around and lit the gas lamps down the street type thing. So, you know, jobs come and jobs go, but they talk about the jobs that will be created by these AI data centers, but they're talking about construction jobs, not ongoing. So, you know, there might be a couple of hundred construction jobs or something, 500 construction jobs, but as soon as the data center is built, they're down to about 6. So, yeah, I'm not a fan of that argument. But what's happening, so we've got that happening in Queensland, but what's also happening is that caught my attention, and I'm looking at the independent.co.uk, 900 million paid out by the felon, well, not really, paid out by the taxpayers to end a wind farm project. And the money, so basically what's happened is the regime has pulled out of a wind farm project, pretty much ordered it to be cancelled, a $1.2 billion payment going to a German company called RWE because the regime cancelled the wind farm projects off New York, California, and Louisiana. He claimed he doesn't, pretty much he's just pro-fossil because there is this setup to and it's all, I mean, it's all intertwined with what's happening over in Persia at the moment, because major donor wants to control the fossil fuel industry. So he labels the wind farms as ugly, expensive, and detrimental to whales. Yeah, I think there's a lot of countries who have wind farms offshore might disagree with that. And instead, the administration or the regime has moved to bolster and expand the fossil fuel industry. The statement says after careful consideration, well, no, there wasn't really. RWE has determined that there's no path forward for these projects in the foreseeable future in the US. And they're absolutely right, not with this regime in place. But the stipulation of the deal is that RWE must invest in conventional energy. So pretty much what's happened is that the deal has been cancelled. The taxpayers are paying out 900 million or 1.2 billion or whatever it is, 1.2 billion to RWE to relinquish the leases of the offshore leases where they were going to have the wind farms. And the deal stipulates that they must invest that 1.2 billion paid for by the taxpayer. It's just a diversion of the money into the pockets of donors. It must be invested in natural gas and coal industries. So what's actually happening is the lion's share of that payout, 900 million, is being used to purchase a liquefied natural gas, LNG gas project in Louisiana. Well, who owns the liquefied natural gas project at the moment? Wouldn't happen to be an Australian billionaire. Oh God, can we disclaim them? Called Michael Dorrell, who actually happens to live next door to Mar-a-Lago and is a major donor. So pretty much what's happening is taking the taxpayers' money, using it to, so this Dorrell guy donated $1 million to the felon shady inaugural committee, blah, 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 and also gave some other donations. So pretty much what's happened is that because of the orange idiot. It's like, I don't have words for it. It's like these military contracts and stuff that go to the buddies, the boys club. So pretty much what's happening is that the regime cancelled these projects, forcing them to give up the leases, but in exchange to the payout, they have to buy a company that is owned by a major donor. So the major donor's turned his approximately $2 million donation into a $900 million kickback. And I'm pretty sure some of that will probably go in the orange idiot's pocket. It just absolutely does my head in. And yeah, taking off, leaving the toxicity, 8 of Cups there. I'm using the Sci-Fi Tarot. Leaving the toxicity there and taking off out the door. Oh, it just does my head in that they do this. So again, taxpayers paying a big kickback to a felon donor for fossil fuel. Oh, FFS on a Friday. Right, so I just want to have a look. Will this deal actually go through? Because I've got the feeling there is going to be some legal action that is taken in regards to this. RWE is a German company, oh dear. But we're talking about the US arm of it. I'd love to know who's behind it. So we're looking at RWE, the overhead is a US company, but the actual one that's getting the payout is RWE US offshore. So I don't know who's behind that particular country. Oh, the agreement brings the total amount spent on such settlements to nearly $4 billion that the US taxpayer has paid for this regime to pull out of renewable energy projects. $4 billion. Can you imagine the amount of renewables that could have been built for that $4 billion? It pretty much would have powered the entire state of Texas. But anyhow, let's have a look. Is this payout going to go ahead? Is this payout going to go ahead? Just makes $4 billion. Right, what's jumped out is the Queen of Swords. There might be a legal case being formed in regards to this. She knows what must be done and she isn't afraid to do it. So I suspect there is going to be some sort of legal case that is brought against this payout. Hope so. Let's see where it goes. The challenge is the hanged man. The project's being stopped. So that is the challenge, is the fact that the projects have been being stopped. Okay, you've got the world here at the bottom, end of a cycle, beginning of a new cycle, but the energy that it's stewing in is that the rest of the world is moving towards renewables. The rest of the world. Not even just this country or that country, the rest of the world. And I know the far right will go, oh, China, China, China. China installed more renewables in the last year than the rest of the world combined. They actually have reached tipping point where over 50% of their energy now comes from renewable. Now, I'm not a huge China fan, but I'm just saying that argument doesn't hold up. We have this one planet, we need to look after it, and the rest of the world is moving on. So what's going to happen is the energy that it's stewing in is that, so this might be the basis of the court case actually, is that the rest of the world is installing these renewables, and therefore the taxpayer is going to demand that this money be spent on the same potentially. I hope so. Okay, let's see where we go, because in the past, the devil. Absolutely. But it's in the past. This devil energy is in the past. And what have we got? 3 major arcana straight out, which is telling me, and I've got itchy head as well, which is telling me something major. This is actually going to be huge. So let's see where it goes. Crowning the reading, the Fool. The new journey. Step into the unknown. Uncharted waters, new beginnings. Because my question was, is there going to be is the payout going to go ahead? Well, usually major arcanas are yes, but the fact that we've got this Queen of Swords here, the internal strategy being challenged by it being stopped, the rest of the world is already moving on beyond fossils, and we've got the Fool at the top. Could be off the cliff, or it could be a new journey, a new beginning, faith and hope that the universe has got our back, or it could simply be foolishness where you go where it goes off the cliff. Right, we've got the 7 of Cups in the immediate future, the smoke and mirrors and delusion and the poor choices that will distract from this. Speaking of distraction, yes, they'll trot the passing of Mitch out at some stage when they need a major distraction, probably when the Orange Idiot has to go in for some health or something. I don't quite know what's going to happen, but yeah, just be aware of that. That they'll trot him out when they need a major distraction. We know that Mitch is no longer on this plane of existence. Okay, externally we've got the moon, the secrets being revealed, some sort of secret being revealed. There is this rocket ship here as well, but I just think this is more about, first of all, the lunacy of this, but also the secret dealings getting revealed. Now, go and watch that Carrick Ryan video if you can. It shows very clearly the investments of certain individuals in certain industries prior to certain announcements coming out. So, and it's insider trader on steroids, and we know that, and it's being very much exposed. It's just nobody at the moment is holding them to account. But look at this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 major arcana. Whatever comes of this, it's huge. We've got the lunacy of this, but also secrets coming out externally, and internally we've got the Ace of Cups. An emotional overwhelming, a cleansing, but it could also be partnerships that are exposed here. So the other 2 cards are court cards. The future begins now. Does the US get on board or not? Page of Swords and the hopes and fears. Could be a social media, could be a social media outrage over this, could be a whistleblower, an expose. I mean, The Independent in the UK is running this story that the money is going to a donor of the felons who lives next door to him. Doesn't matter that they're Australian. Goodness me, I know there's enough of those that we'd like to disassociate ourselves with. Lives in the US because he can take advantage of the situation over there. Is in the inner circle with the Orange Idiot, and is getting the backhanded payout via the regime cancelling this project. So we've got here the Page of Swords, the truth coming out, the whistleblower. Right, we've got the 9 of Pentacles, the feathering of one's nest with money is the outcome. The 3 of Pentacles, the secret dealings going on behind the scenes in the darkness of night, and then the 3 of Wands. Information coming in from overseas, perhaps. Four of Wands, an announcement from the White House, and the Wheel of Fortune turning, changing, turning. The wheel turning, karma coming in, biting him on the bum, and then we've got the Ace of Swords, the truth coming forward, the plan being exposed. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Again, this is something that needs to get more attention on the shores of the US, because I'm sure there's a lot of taxpayers that don't know that their money is going to this. Yeah, the money changing hands, the Six of Pentacles. There it is, as I've split the deck. So, is this payout? I mean, we know it's brown paper bag stuff. We know it is. Is this payout going to be stopped? Is this payout going to be stopped? Yes, the Sun card. Absolutely. The Sun card, the Empress, the Feminine, the Ace of Swords, the truth coming forward, potentially a court case, and the Seven of Swords, the lying, the stealing, the cover-up, Ace of Cups, the deal, but also the emotionally overwhelming, the Hermit, something they tried to keep in the dark being exposed, and then the Seven of Wands cornered and on the back foot being defensive. I think there is. We've got the Page of Cups here, unexpected news coming out. The Three of Wands possibly from a distant horizon, and then we've got the Five of Cups, the loss, Three of Pentacles, the deal done behind the scenes, the Nine of Wands, guardrails and some manner keeping this at bay. And then we've got the Lovers, the agreements, the Smoke and Mirrors, the Queen of Pentacles, the money, and we've got Judgment, Four of Cups, rejection. I do think, yes, okay, I think, sorry about the big burbly at the end, at the beginning there, not more talk, more cards, less talk, Libby. Yeah, I do think, and there's the Hierophant and Temperance. What else have we got on the other side? And the Four of Wands, an announcement coming from the White House, and the Five of Swords. The pouring from cup to cup, the alchemy. It's going to be exposed as this self-sabotage, deception, betrayal. It's out there. There's more to this than meets the eye, but than is currently aware. I mean, it is just another thing in a long list of corruption things, but I don't think they're going to get away with this one. I think this one's actually going to be a step too far because of the obvious connections. Okay, let's see how it plays out. Be aware of that. Sasha and that, hang on. It's weekend time. If something important happens over the weekend, can't believe it's weekend again already. If something important happens, I will be on. Otherwise, I'll be catching up for the next 2 days, and I shall catch you shortly. Bye-bye.